The St. Croix EMS Regular Commission meeting for Thursday, May 2nd to order. And I guess, Tom, welcome back. We have not heard back from Town of Troy as far as their representative. Is that correct, Joy?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so discussion and possible action on the minutes of the April 9th, 2019 regular EMS Commission meeting.
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Financial report, Joanne, did Devin reach out to you about doing
Yes,
that in the next meeting?
Yes, he didn't have it available this time.
Gotcha. And did he also mention anything on the RFP to billing company? I mean, that just seems like it's...
No, he didn't mention
Okay.
anything, so.
All right. Moving on to number 4, the update on Lakeview contract negotiations. So we met as a committee, what was it, not last week, but the week before. And our next meeting is coming up on the 9th, which is next week, Thursday, in the evening after the public safety meeting. And at this point, we are asking the lawyers to kind of work together to get some of the language in our discussions. There's been a lot of points that we've kind of gone back and forth on, and at this point, we just need to see in writing what those look like before we have more discussion, I guess. Again, Stan, I would ask if you don't mind, I asked you in the previous EMS Commission meeting, if you wouldn't mind not negotiating directly as the Village of North Hudson. I know you don't need to have a contract with EMS,
Right.
technically. So are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other piece to it really is, I don't know that I feel that in a comfortable enough spot in the contract negotiations to have that conversation about retention of St. Croix EMS employees currently. Do you have any thoughts on that, Josh?
I think something needs to be done sooner than later,
Okay.
but I guess, that's out of my hands. You know my opinion on it.
Right.
I expressed my concerns about it.
Okay. I could see that conversation. I mean, I'm not in a comfortable enough spot to say, I mean, we obviously are moving in this direction, but we haven't even seen the contract language. I mean, we have these conversations back and forth, but we don't have anything in writing yet. And so that's why I don't feel comfortable having that conversation yet from an employee standpoint.
Yeah, Staff doesn't feel comfortable enough just to hang out and wait and hope for the best, so,
Got it. Got it. Okay.
That's something you guys gotta remember, but I'm sure, it'll be held against us or whatever, or St. Croix EMS, if staff starts leaving, I don't know, it needs, I'm not gonna, I've said my piece, so I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Maybe just at a high level, Bill, Josh, how many staff are there and kind of what's the range of FTE equivalents and that kind of thing?
There's 40 staff. There's 3 full-time medics. Myself, Joanne, which are full-time. And then there's 20, 30, what, 32 EMTs or part-time casual medics, EMT staff.
And one medic recently resigned, is that correct?
Correct. And their EMT's last day was, what's today, Thursday, Tuesday? So, getting a lot of phone calls for employment verifications, so.
Say that one more time?
Getting a lot of phone calls for employment verifications.
Gotcha.
Other employers
Oh.
calling to verify that they work here because people are applying.
Got it.
So, it's out of my hands. It's just wait for the cart to crash into the wall, so.
Can I ask what's been communicated to the team? Has it been like just face-to-face communication, or has there been a message sent out, or
As far as what? What do you mean
in terms of the
communicated?
status, in terms of employment and that type of thing?
I don't know anything. The staff knows everything that I know. Everything's face-to-face. I don't do anything by email because I think that's tasteless. Everything's face-to-face. Staff knows where they sit. Staff asked me right away after the meeting to vote to go into contract negotiations. Well, do we leave? It's not my decision,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I don't lie to my staff. They know 110% the truth, so.
Yeah, I'm not implying anything. I'm just
No,
curious
I mean,
what-
no, and I'm just saying, we went through this 2 years ago.
Okay.
And this is what destroyed St. Croix EMS as far as the leadership and the staff goes, because we were bound to so much secrecy that we couldn't tell anything. That now we're into it again, and now I'm sure some staff thinks that, is what's happening really happening, or is that truly the truth, or, but they know everything I know, so. And it's hard. I mean, it's a job that a lot of people depend on for income, so. And just to, sit there and tap your fingers every day, waiting for the gauntlet, it's hard, and,
And maybe to that point, do we have a sense of the timeline? It's hard-
Timing?
It's hard to speculate, I know, in terms of
Correct.
couple months, couple weeks.
and I'd be careful.
So in the
putting
last
I'd be
meeting-
careful putting the time frame on it.
Yeah, no, last meeting, I kind of outlined potentially 6 to 8 weeks, most likely not longer than 3 months.
I'm not asking for any commitment on a time frame, just general. you know.
No, correct. I mean, my sense of it is, right now, we've been back and forth in that committee as conversation. But really, the proof needs to be in the pudding on paper. That process, I could see going back and forth. Another piece of that process is that we want to take a look at first responder program.
It
I
should
know-
have been in the RFP then.
What's that?
So that should have been all listed in the RFP. Problem is this is gonna get drug out for so long, and do you know what it's like to work for someplace that's going through this? Twice, 5 or 4 times in the amount of time that I've worked here. But twice in the last 3 years? Do you know what it's like? And you guys get on me about staffing and what do you want me to do? But now you guys are gonna add extra components into this to drag it out a little bit longer?
Are you saying that I'm getting on you? I'm just asking for information on staffing, my conversations with
I've
you.
sat in all the contract negotiation meetings, and I've listened to the stuff that St. Croix EMS gets smeared about, the wrong information that's getting put out there, even in city council meetings, even during the contract negotiations. So, I mean, you have to understand what we are going through downstairs.
And this kind of goes back to that conversation that you and I had about a week ago when you had mentioned that to me. And I guess what I'm looking from you is information that is in those meetings that is different than your point of view.
What
Could I see that?
What difference is it going to make now? You're not in contract negotiations with St. Croix EMS. You're in contract negotiations with Lakeview EMS. It's hard for me, for somebody that's been here for over 20 years. It really sucks, pardon my language, everybody out there in TV land, but sitting in these meetings, listening to a bunch of people sit around a table and destroy a service that a lot of us have poured our heart and souls into to keep in this city. And then you get a couple people up here that, just destroy it.
So can you send me information about that?
So if I send you the information, what is it gonna do? If you don't mind me asking.
getting it to the other committee members, that things that are stated in those public meetings are not necessarily actually true.
But how's it gonna, how's it gonna
How's it
benefit?
gonna
How's it gonna affect or benefit St. Croix EMS at this point?
You're talking in terms of contract.
I'm talking
in terms
I'm
of
talking,
employees.
I'm talking in terms of anything. The damage to the employees has been done. I don't know if that can come back. I don't know if, you know, putting on, you know, so sorry for the wrong. You guys have hurt
Understood.
morale, staff, bad.
Understood. So you're saying that you won't send that information?
I can, but I
Okay.
want to know what benefit it's going to have. If I send you an email with everything, I mean, what's going to come out of it?
I can't answer that. But again, going back to what I look for is just more information.
Okay. I would see it beneficial if we're still in RFP negotiations, or, you know, in the RFP discussions, to send that information out to make sure it's correct, but obviously we're far past that, so.
So one thing that came up in this most recent meeting was taking a look at the call volume, the response times in relation just to Hudson for 2018. I think that you had given us a thick packet, like of every call at some
Every
point.
single call.
Is there anything that exists digitally
It's all in your email.
in the, in that most recent packet, or is it,
No, not for
this is a
2018.
previous,
Not for 18, this is current year.
current year, yes. Yes, I have that.
2018, I can give it to you.
Okay. Do you have that digitally that you can share with me?
Yep.
Okay. Because obviously we want to take a look at,
Is this one you're looking for?
um,
That's one I got at our last meeting.
this is 2019, yes.
2019.
Yeah, so I'm looking for a similar
Oh, for 2018.
piece for 2018.
Okay.
That's in the
Be
RFP.
able to take a look at City of Hudson only.
That's in the RFP.
Is it? Paper document though, right?
Yep.
That's what
We
I
should
thought.
have electronic copy of it though, too. We had to provide electronic copies to the city of our RFP, so.
Gotcha.
If not, I can send it to you.
I was gonna say, can you send that to me or Joanne? But is that,
But you gotta tell me what you want, though.
got it,
Lakeview gives you 911 emergent responses only. You get everything from me. Emergent, non-emergent, walking a
Right.
bag down the street, everything.
right. Is that something that can be parsed out?
Nope,
So it's all
All
all one.
one?
It can be parsed out, but we're gonna have to sit down and go through all 2,000, over 2,000 calls by hand
Got it.
and pull them out of there.
So after this meeting, do you want me to send what I'm looking for? And I'll do whatever kind of legwork that I can do to help? I mean, I don't want to offload a bunch of work. You know what I mean?
Depends on what you want, what you're looking for.
Well, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for City of Hudson response, lights and sirens for all of 2018.
Why don't you want the other ones?
What's that?
Why don't you want the other ones? Non-emergent.
How much does that throw the data,
A lot,
right?
but it's true. If you want a true actual response time, you have to figure everything then. You can't just pick your emergent ones where you're driving 70 miles an hour, 2 miles, and, oh yeah, I got there in 2 minutes.
Got it.
Rock on.
Got it.
There's a lot of other stuff with priority dispatching, alpha calls. I mean, it's all normal drive time. I mean,
Do those also include interfacilities? Or can we parse that?
we
It's
can,
included in there, yeah. it's
And
all
there's,
included.
is there any way to parse that out to be able to look at? I mean, is it all kind of
you can
coded?
pull, I mean, there's
Manually.
but
Manually,
there's not
yeah.
that many. There's 12.
For 2018.
For
there's-
2018 though?
Well, yeah, there's 439 for.
Right. Is that something that is coded that I could take out or put any work to, or?
Coded by the address,
Yeah,
Oh, got it. Got
coded
it.
by address or coded by interfacility. I
Okay.
can take interfacility out of there.
I'd like to see interfacility out of it, I think. It would just be 911 response. To your point, we should be looking at everything, you're right. Can that be separated out?
Emergent, non-emergent?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think I ran a report yesterday that separates that out. How many emergent, non-emergent ones there were.
is that in that?
That's
P.
in this big packet, yeah.
Got it.
It'll tell you, so pretty much anything Charlie or higher is gonna be emergent. On this sheet here.
Which page is that, do you know? Showing?
Six,
6, yeah, page 6.
That's the, oh,
The EMD.
Alpha, yeah, Alpha Bravo Charlie, right?
Yep,
In the priority system. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. So below that, going page 1 through 9, well, starting with page 7, right? As we're taking a look at the city, it would be something similar to that that you could put together for all of 2018?
yeah,
Okay.
if you want it by call.
Yeah, what I'm interested in taking a look at is
Otherwise, I
trying-
can run you a report that's just gonna give you an average response time.
Say that again?
Otherwise, I can run you a report that's a quarter of a page that'll just give you average response time. But that'll be everything, and I can't separate emergent versus non-emergent versus transfers,
Gotcha. So the average would be everything.
everything,
But you could take interfacilities out from that?
maybe. I'd have to look.
Again, manual, and you got like 400 calls. 2018. I would like to see, and I don't know if things need to be redacted or whatever, I would like to see line by line, at least,
There's nothing that needs to be redacted.
they're gonna do the, test the.
Generators,
oh, is that what's going
Yep.
to? Okay.
there's nothing that needs to be redacted, so.
Oh, got it, okay, okay. I just didn't know if there was any proprietary information. So what I'm interested in seeing, I guess, is the response time as we talk about, in these negotiations, as we talk about fractile versus average.
And then you guys gotta tell me what you wanna use, if you wanna use fractile or if you wanna use average.
Is there any way of doing both,
You can do both. Fractile's gonna be higher, but
right? Just so that we have a sense going in of what that looks like. I mean, how much workload is that on you, though?
a couple clicks of a button,
Okay,
just if, obviously for 18, there'll be just a manual worker trying to get the transfers out of there.
gotcha.
I'll have to talk to the billing company and see if they can build me another different report without transfers in it.
Okay. Thank you.
But you want all calls, emergent, non-emergent, everything?
Yeah, in the fractile. And the average. Yeah, because that's what
We
we're
pulled
looking
this
at.
information from the sheets that we got, that I got last week. That's, you know, I think I sent you that.
Yes.
Thanks, Tim.
So this is,
This is just from the
this is
report.
doing the math from the report from 2019.
That report came from the building department, or whatever.
Thank you.
That was,
So-
it's called a detailed response at times by zone, you know, it's printed on the 8th, so that's when I got it the last meeting. And that, you know, that's got averages, and it's not in fractile, that's what you're looking for, yeah?
Yes.
But for the
For
previous year.
for 2018.
Right.
And only for our contract negotiations, meaning the city of Hudson,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you want or need to see anything 2018 parsed out for just Village of North Hudson, or
Well,
no?
I've seen enough of those there.
Okay. Okay. Anything else on Lakeview contract negotiations? All right. I assume that the update on RFP for billing company is kind of,
Not heard anything, yeah.
it's kind of the same
Right.
as last, okay. Moving on to 6, the ambulance statistics. Now, is this what you had sent out earlier?
Yes.
It is, okay. So I have not
That's this
had
report.
time
Yes.
to absorb that. Now, is this sort of in response also to the request about putting together sort of that narrative on a call? Remember, we talked about
Oh,
that?
is it, Josh? Okay.
I mean, a little bit. It's hard to do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for like your narrative that you guys requested from, you know, station to the call. Well, it's not stuff that we track. We only track
Gotcha.
our loaded mileage. So from the time we put the patient in the back of the ambulance to whatever hospital we're going to. I mean, that's all stuff we track. So it's hard to, I mean, it's hard to sit down. I mean, we can sit down. I mean, that's why in that big sheet, you know, on the detailed response times by zone, I mean, it lists the address there. I mean, if you guys want to, you know, look at a couple long ones, and I mean, you just type it in and you can pull out, you know, the mileage from here to the scene. So.
I personally won't even know what to do with this. I mean, there's just so much information.
That is, right.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering the purpose of this packet at this point. Do you remember why it was requested or what the intent was?
Yep.
I just switched over to the generator, so.
Oh, thank you. Yep, no, I'm fine.
I missed the last meeting. Maybe it was discussed then. What was the intent to get this report?
Yeah, so I was trying to find a way to get some sort of narrative about some of these calls that obviously we can't, because of HIPAA regulations, right? We can't say certain things, but just getting a little bit more sense of operationally what's happening per call, what is the staffing, how does that get manipulated because of whatever call. You know, I went on, or not I went, but this truck went out on a call, and what happened behind the scenes on other calls, but
Well, that makes sense. So we've got the data. We just don't have the executive summary telling us what the data means, is what you're saying.
right,
Okay.
right. again, this is a lot of information.
So are there any highlights from the data? I mean, if there's one or two or three things in terms of patterns or...
The biggest highlights is, response times are still staying good. Staffing's still staying good. If you look at, I believe it's the very last page, is completed, the schedule for April, which is full. And I know Joanne put in your first couple. Get my fingers to work. Page 5 is actually, it broke out on how many ambulances are staffed day and night. So trying to keep the screws screwed together and people working, so.
Yeah, thanks for adding on to that. Again, I haven't had a chance to digest on it. But 5 is sort of that update of what I requested about a couple of months ago or whatever, so that's all. I don't know what the math is on that. You didn't do a percentage off of that
Nope.
by chance, did you?
No, I didn't.
I mean, it looks low, right? I mean, the low percentage to having one ambulance only staffed.
Yeah.
I mean,
By the way, it looks, I think the last time I figured out, we're still upper 80s, low 90s, staffing wise, so.
gotcha. Nice.
Still doing some transfers here and there out of other hospitals, some out of Hudson,
Other hospitals, River Falls?
River Falls and Richmond.
Gotcha. Any long distance? I know you had a long distance one a couple months
A
back.
couple weeks ago, we went down to, we go to Rochester. Went to Rochester a couple weeks ago. A couple long ones into the cities, into Abbott or whatever, so.
Gotcha. Is that a higher payout just because of distance?
Depends on the insurance company.
Right, right.
Depends on the insurance company and what they're going for.
Was this a one-time request, or is this something we wanted to come back here regularly, or what were you thinking? Because if it comes back regularly, I think a couple
yeah.
of bullets, a little brief summary would be helpful.
Right.
So I don't
I
know what to
think,
do.
we're having, I know some of us, I know I was having technological issues downloading the file because it's so big, right? So I think what I'll take with this information is just kind of digest it for a little bit, what information is helpful, what is not helpful, and then figure out what's an ongoing. I mean, this is great in that it's a lot more than what was requested, right? So, yeah, I think in the next, I'll drop you an email, Joanne,
Right.
about, and maybe sending it to everybody else, just saying, here's what I'd like to see. Is there any other suggestions? And then, yeah, thank you for putting that together, though.
As I was just thinking about this too, probably two-pronged. First would be any information pertinent moving forward in terms of specific things that we're looking at. The second thing is, as you just said, kind of a status update from this, as it sounds like it's status quo and no real changes. Is that
No, just,
putting words in your mouth, I guess?
no, it's just people, people leaving and, people gotta work more and.
In terms of the statistics, though.
Right.
Okay.
But otherwise it's, we're holding together so far, so.
But to the first point, any information we can derive from this would be helpful for the future, and I guess whether it's negotiations or what we need to be focused on in terms of
Just need to know what you actually want, what you're actually looking for
Right.
in these reports.
Right.
Okay.
So let me go back.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
I've kind of been attending the meetings, and I'm not sure exactly what information you are looking for, but we may have some GIS information that may help you more. And when we had a GIS study done 2 years ago, we have like 5 different locations, and it breaks down all our service area, which is basically the same as theirs, as to what time it takes from each location. It just happens one of those locations is right by the hospital. So it'll maybe clarify some things too, because it's kind of hard to do apples to apples when you're running from different locations and that. And this just basically gives that regular traffic speed, how long it takes for each specific area. And we already have all that information. So example would be if you're in the village and you're coming from downstairs versus coming from somewhere else. So you talk about a lot of averages, and it really does vary, but this kind of breaks it down into where you're responding from and the average time.
Gotcha.
And not maybe going through this as much. And I'm not sure, I think that might help you a little bit get more of an idea of actually how long it takes from, I think we had 5 specific locations. Obviously, the 2 pertinent ones here would be the hospital and downstairs. So
Right.
that may help. And I think Ward was on there also.
Gotcha. Is that
So if you
something
want that, I can share
Yeah.
that and send
No,
it
that
to
would
you
be
if
good.
you want to spread it out, or Joanne. So
So again, this wouldn't be like actual run times. This is just.
this is
it's-
done by a GIS, by a company.
Right.
Normal traffic flow,
Right.
but they figure everything in.
Gotcha.
So it gives you more of an idea, location-wise, where and to each specific area within our service area.
Do they give kind of a range, or is that like a?
Yeah, it's a range. It's broke down into color of how long it takes and the different pockets of where, there's a few pockets here and there that definitely take longer, but it just might give, it's more broad, but I think it will give you a little bit better idea, because I'm not sure exactly what you guys are looking for, but it might help in saying if they're in station, this is what it's going to take to get to this area, so on average. So
Sure.
that might be a little bit easier for these guys too. So.
I think that'd be great, because as we were looking at fractile times and stuff, and then some of the run times, I mean, there's times where they're responding to North Hudson faster than they're responding into Hudson, and it's like, how does that work? I said,
Well,
it's really
and-
great
and-
for our people, but I says,
And this is just my perspective, though, they may be out close to North Hudson, they may have one of their medics that's right there that's going to be there right away. If we're talking about Lakeview might be right downtown, or it's really hard, but that's why I think sometimes when you do the average of that other one, it gives you a really good average. But yeah, it's hard to pinpoint every single one, because you just can't. It's the same with us. If we have people in the station, we're going to get out the door quicker. So, but anyway, I'd be happy to share that information. It might help you a little bit too.
I'd like to see that.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Thanks for getting this together, Stan. Appreciate it. Is that something that we could do on a go-forward basis, even for 2019, as numbers come out?
Probably.
Q1, yeah. Because this was based on through the end of March. Probably doesn't make
that's all we
sense to
have.
look at it more than quarterly, though. You know what I mean? I don't know that you want to put that much work into seeing it from a wider angle. So again, I'll take a look, you guys take a look too, see what would be important to look at, and then we'll just parse down what information we want to be looking at. Anything else on ambulance statistics? Seeing none, I will move on to number 7, Operations Supervisor Report.
No, not much to report, just, trying to hold stuff together downstairs. We did the prom crash last Wednesday, I think, for the high school. We put on the prom crash for the high school along with the fire department and
Right on.
Hudson Police Department, and then we had LifeLink fly a helicopter in for
I
a
saw
show.
some pictures of it,
So
but
that
how
went,
was the experience? You were there on site?
yep, went good. So kids seemed to, take it all in and kind of watch, and we did our crash scene outside, and then they went back across to the high school and they did the ER scene, the funeral, and then the courtroom scene inside. So
Right on. So operationally, you said that we are down 1 medic, but you are also
We're down
receiving,
2 medics, but,
well, right, I'm sorry, right,
well, technically 3. I got one that's filling
gotcha.
one of the,
So we have 2 full-time medics currently,
correct.
right? The gentleman that just resigned, is he filling out the shifts
So far?
so far? And what was the agreement there? That he was going to do another, fill out the schedule that was current then?
Finish April.
Finish April. Got it. Okay, so we're now into May. Is it difficult? Are you finding other medics, kind of casuals coming in
Yeah.
or to fill in the, okay. But so far, you haven't seen any earth-shattering difference to being down to 1 ambulance? It's, you're still able to fill the lion's share with 2?
Yep.
That's great. Thank you. What about, you had asked me at one point about status quo on supplies and updates on tires.
It's not so much, I just, as a business as usual, I mean, because obviously I got trucks that need tires and, some, I need pagers, because I got pagers that are, breaking. I need to order pagers. A couple radios would be nice, but, and it's all in budget,
Right?
computers, stuff like that, but I don't know if I'm allowed to buy any of it. I've been asking for a computer for my office for, I don't know, since last year.
I would say absolutely.
So,
I mean, when it comes down to replacing tires, I mean, for all budgeted items, you should be replacing, in my opinion.
okay.
So,
It wasn't that way the last time I went through this, so that's why I posed
Gotcha.
that question this time.
got it. At this point, again, kind of going back to Tom's question about timing, again, I say that that would be the sense of the timing that I have, but is it late July? I mean, I don't want, if it's budgeted, I would say move forward.
I did, and then as far as staffing goes, I know time frame, it's hard to put a date on, but we're gonna get into our busy season here pretty quick. So,
Now that we're in May,
busy season and vacation season, so,
got it. Are you seeing the vacation impact,
not yet.
staffing? Okay,
We did around Christmas, New Year,
gotcha.
a little bit, but now you get in the summer and kids are getting out of school and we'll get a little tighter staffing wise, but
Gotcha. Kind of that June, mid-June through August, would you say?
Memorial Day
Memorial Day? Gotcha.
through Labor Day probably, just to be safe.
Okay.
The first vacation of the year, the last vacation of the year.
Right, right.
Then I'm down medics, but, am I allowed to fill them full-time spots? I don't know if I can get anybody to fill a full-time spot with what's going on, but,
Right.
I mean, I need some direction from the city, whether I'm posting to fill these spots or from the commission or what.
Again, that goes back to the question, is it budgeted, right?
It's all
And
budgeted.
it's budgeted, so I would say it's status quo. And I don't know, wouldn't you say, Stan?
Well, if it needs, maintenance, absolutely, you can't have some ambulances all without, that aren't safe, that makes no sense, so.
So are you wanting to hear direction from the council beyond the commission on this, or?
I don't know, it's gonna impact the end game. I mean, if I hire a bunch more full-time employees and we go away, I mean, that's more, if I hire the other 3 full-time medic spots, I mean, that's gonna, come into play at some point in this game, so. I don't know if the city wants it, the city wants us to run status quo, I mean,
Yeah.
run the way we are right now, don't add, you got 3 open full-time spots, but don't fill them, or,
I mean, I
then
think
I don't wanna,
I think the challenge, right, is to your point, is finding the people to fill those spots.
Right, to come
When
here.
we are in the midst of this negotiation.
Right.
But I would say to you that from my perspective, yeah, it should be status quo not status quo. It should be business as usual. We lose a spot, we look for replacement of that spot, as long as it's budgeted for. So, yeah. And if you want, I can see if we can add something to the council agenda just to make sure that everybody else is on the same page, but that's,
I guess we can run it through Devin and see what he says, but just want to make sure. I don't want to, do anything where I get in trouble or anything, so as far as, but,
I appreciate that. I can, after this meeting, I can send a note to Devin. I'll put you and Joanne on it just to verify. But that's my perspective, is we should be delivering the best that we can with the situation that we're in.
yeah. So since it's budgeted, can I replace my chase vehicle downstairs?
Budgeted for 2019? Yeah. I mean, with a budgeted item like that, what the typical process would be that you would come to council, correct?
Well, I have to go get my 3 quotes and
Right.
run it through council.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Anything else on Operations Supervisor report? Any other questions for Josh?
No?
Okay. Future agenda items. I think we want to do, obviously, the minutes, the financial report. When did Devin say on the financial report? Do you remember?
Well, he's waiting for a couple other reports from the billing company because they changed them out or something, and he used data from those reports for,
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
I think they'll get them to him probably within the next week. So by the next meeting, he'd have them.
Got it. I'm wondering if we should put on hold the update on RFP for billing company.
Sure.
I mean, that's been on
I
the
think
agenda
that'll
for a
finally,
long
I think
time,
that'll weed its way out once the contract negotiations are done.
right?
It's either if we go away, it won't be signed, or if we stay, then the city will sign it.
'Cause
So,
it's in just sort of this limbo, right?
I think it's in hold until this process gets figured out.
Right,
Because I don't think the city wants to be stuck with a 2-year billing contract for a service that they don't have anymore.
right.
That's just my opinion, but
Anything else? The ambulance statistics, I don't know if we can get something different language around that, just update on what we want to look at from a recap.
Run volume and stuff.
And again, if there could just be just a very mini summary, a couple bullet points, what is the data telling us? That would be helpful for me.
Sure. So, next meeting, time and date?
Tuesday mornings are not good for me.
Got it, okay. What days of the week is good for you, Tom?
I'm pretty flexible. I can move things around, so I'll defer to the group if you want to throw out a date and time.
Gotcha.
Fridays might be good.
Fridays are bad for me. I
Okay.
would say either like a Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesdays are out for me.
Wednesdays are out for you.
Sounds like Thursday.
So Thursday.
We're down to Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday it is.
You want to go,
I aim for like the 30th.
Well, let me ask this. So, okay, the Common Council's getting together on the 9th, right?
The committee is
Committee,
getting
excuse me.
together. So the Common Council meets on the 6th, committee meets on the 9th.
9th.
Common Council again meets on the 20th.
Do you think it's better to meet, like, in cadence or sequence right after they meet, or to let them meet a couple times so we have more information to go on for this group? I'd be more
I
inclined.
think we'd give them a couple chances. 'cause
Yeah, I'd be more
the way
inclined to let
stuff
them
has
meet a couple
progressed.
times so we got more information to discuss.
I don't think I would want to hold off until June,
No.
Oh, no.
right? So we're looking at either the 23rd or the 30th. I will say, too, that we did not, in that last meeting, define any meeting dates beyond the 9th with the committee. But I assume we would be meeting on the week of the 13th.
Well, if,
30th would be better for me.
for me as well, if it's not too late, that day works.
Well, let's set the 30th. Are you liking this time?
Works
9
for me.
a.m.?
This works fine, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So 9 a.m. on May 30th. As I do also sit on that committee, if there's anything that I feel that we should be meeting because of, we can always up that date,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
To adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.